How did I not jump off a bridge? Welcome to Scars and Victories, the journey. In this chapter, we'll be talking about how did I not jump off a bridge with everything that was happening and everything that was going on. In the previous video, I shared with you after my husband died, the things that I had to go through. Now, after losing a loved one, it is already a difficult journey. It is already lots of back and forth, lots of tug and war with life and with your emotions. And now adding to that load something that is super unfamiliar and something that you just do not feel equipped to do. So I remember finding myself in a place with everything that was on my plate, staring myself in the mirror. And I was looking at myself and I was crying and I was like, this is so much. This things are going wrong, things are just so heavy to carry. And this was before God had met me on the bathroom floor. And I remember it felt like my insides were physically being torn apart. I don't know if you've lost a loved one, but the moment you lose a loved one, you can physically feel that hurt and pain within your body. And I was feeling it in my body. I was feeling it felt like someone was ripping my chest open. It felt like someone was constricting my throat. It felt like it felt like my body was shaking all the time. And I think a big part of that was the loss because I know what it feels like to lose someone close to you because I've lost someone before this. But on top of that, it's the unknown of the future. It's the unknown of what lies ahead. The things that you feel you might not be able to do, the things that you know will be coming, you will have to face them. And then things like learning new skills, learning this new industry, learning to cope on my own at my own house because now there is no one at home to help me fix things. When things break, I need to fix them with limited knowledge. That can also make you feel a little bit overwhelmed. And I remembered staring at myself in the mirror, and I had this moment where I realized I will not be able to do this on my own. It will be impossible for me to do this on my own. And that was such a big realization for me. This is now almost a month into losing my husband and now being in this unfamiliar place with this job that I don't really know what is expected of me or what I should or shouldn't do. And in that moment of realizing that I cannot do this on my own, I made a decision. I said to God, and this is a phrase I said to him quite often, I said, this cup is too heavy for me to carry. It is too heavy for me to carry, especially on my own. And he was so faithful. He was so faithful, meeting me in the small and meeting me in the big. He sent people to encourage me. He helped me to see him from another perspective, to really go and intentionally wanting to walk with Jesus. So, opening my Bible, and it really feels like God is speaking to me. And that was an encouragement on its own. I was I was all of a sudden in a place where when I was worshiping, even if it was just listening to the lyrics and having the worship on in the background, just sitting and crying also made me feel better. And this gave me enough to go on, to go to the next level, to go to just get to the end of the day, because that was a big thing. I had decided now I cannot do this on my own. I had pleaded with God, I cannot do this on my own. I had started worshiping and intentionally seeking him in his word to get to know him more, and mainly, the biggest thing, mainly for comfort. Because you will not believe how much comfort you can find in the word. And it's amazing because you know what? God meets you where you are at, not where you are going to be. So at that moment, He knew what I needed to read, He knew what I needed to hear, and He helped me to get to that specific passage, to be able to be enriched, to be able to gain wisdom, to have encouragement, to get peace, to get discernment, to know where I'm going from now, to give me just enough krag, is die Afrikaanse woord, to get through this day. And and I'm so grateful for him. I am so grateful for the way he met me exactly where I was. He was meeting me lying underneath the trucks, full of oil, full of hopelessness, feeling very much deserted and overwhelmed and frustrated. He met me inside the trucks while fixing them. He met me on top of the trucks while fixing their roofs. He met me in the middle of the night in the pouring rain outside trying to fix my electric fence. And every time I was just amazed at knowing that I am not alone. And someone came to me during this time when I made this decision that these are the things that I'm going to do because I cannot walk this walk alone. Someone came to me and said to me, do you know that the Bible says that God is a husband to the widow? And man, what a promise is that? That is that is significant. And it was. He just gave me enough for each day. And this sounds really bad, but I'm going to say it anyway, because if you're going to stick with me on this journey, you'll notice that I say crazy things or weird things, and it's okay. That's me. But it was like a high. It was like I was loving how God had just every time met me in this specific conversation, send someone to encourage me, send someone to just sit with me so that I could cry and feel sorry for myself. And then say afterwards, okay, now it's time to get up again. Meeting me in places like sending me to the right small groups to connect with people. My family that was always listening and always there, he just knew when, where, what, and who to send, and he just never makes mistakes. And looking back now, that was one of the biggest things that fueled me, is this high of searching for God and finding him. Because, and we'll get to this in later videos, but this feels like the closest I have been to God all my life. And I had been searching for God and walking with God, but this, in this most difficult time of my life, felt the closest that I have ever been to God. And when I think about it, he is he's such a gentleman because he doesn't force himself on us. He doesn't force us to do things, say things. He guides us. He guides us and he gives us just enough for today. Because that was another thing I did. I just decided if I can only get through today. My father-in-law used to tell me on the phone, it's okay. We're just going to get to tea time. Once we get to tea time, we're just going to go to get to lunchtime. And once we get to lunchtime, we're just going to go to get to supper. And then we take it step by step. And that helped me so much. That really encouraged me so much because I like thinking far ahead in advance, making plans, making decisions now for then. And it wasn't necessary in that time because I didn't have the capacity to do that. I could only get through today, and that was okay. I also realized, and this was a big one for me, I think it was the third or the fourth sermon that I went to after coming back home after the whole incident, that the pastor was talking about losing someone and being in a place of grief. And at that moment, I was still so raw. I was sitting in that church and I was crying. I was crying, 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 like bawling my eyes out. and And I just thought to myself, how amazing is it that on this day that I really needed to hear this word, that God once again did not disappoint and met me exactly where I was. And I walked out of there with this phrase. So so the phrase is, it's okay not to be okay. Now, it is difficult for me to give you everything that I did because, as you can hear till now, there's quite a few things that I did to survive. There are quite a few fundamentals that stuck with me. It's okay not to be okay. Let's just make it to tea time, then to lunchtime, then to supper. It's one day at a time. God, seeking God intentionally, seeing the small things, seeing where He is meeting me at. Because you know what? There is so much beauty in the small things where He meets us, and we miss it often. Till today, sometimes I look back and I'm like, I missed that completely. And it's because He meets us in the smallest of small to the biggest of big. And doing all of these things, surrendering, giving Him my cup, telling other people that I need help to carry this load. I think all of that is a combination of why I did not decide I am going to go jump off a bridge. I am going to lie down and not get up. I had this motivation of just now, just one step in front of the other. Worship. So backtracking, going back to worship. With worship, there was this one song that really, really just had my heart in this season. And I was listening to this song so many times a day, sometimes just crying, other times singing because I just wanted to express what I was feeling. And it was Lauren Daigle's Hold On to Me. And I'll put the link in the description below. But that song carried me as well. When I was listening to that song, I felt so much closer to Jesus. And He gave me this picture one day, and this is the picture that I often went to in my mind during this whole season. And it's a picture of Jesus standing on a cloud, and I'm hanging off this cloud, and I'm just holding on to a small piece of His clothing, and I'm barely hanging on. And I'm saying to Him, please just don't let me go. I'm barely hanging on. Please just don't let me go. And that was a plead. That was an honest plead, telling Him my heart that I am not coping. I am not handling this the way I would love to, or that I think is I am supposed to. And the fact that He held on to me during that phase and during that time is so precious, because He stuck with me, even though at times I really felt angry at Him. Because why can you take someone so precious to me? It is the start of my life. I am super excited. I am building a life. I am excited for this new journey. And 180 degrees turning my back towards this dream of mine and this future that I was seeing for myself, ending up underneath a truck full of oil, all alone on a small holding. So I was angry. I was angry at God, and I had conversations with Him where I was just like, I cannot understand why you're putting me through this. Why me? Why do I have to go through this? And I think those are normal things to do. And later on, He got me to a place of actually repenting towards Him for the things I had said, because it is not His fault. And He really came and worked with my heart in such a way in this season, softening my heart towards so many things, because my heart had become hardened and I didn't even realize it. So, as I'm talking, I'm sure that you can hear that there are so many things that I did, so many ways that God had met me in this season. And it is priceless. It is priceless because, like I said in the previous video, it is something that no one can take away from me. The journey wasn't great. The journey was tiring and excruciating some days, but still I did it. And I got out on the other side, sharing a victory with you right now. So I would say that that is pretty amazing. So before we end off, I really just want to share this with you. One of the books in the Bible that really stood out for me was Proverbs. And God was really meeting me in Proverbs like you cannot believe. Every day I couldn't wait to read Proverbs, and I think I got stuck in Proverbs during that season, and it's okay because it really helped me so much. But if you have a look at Proverbs 1, verse 2, it says, gaining wisdom and instruction for understanding, receiving into instruction in prudent behavior, doing what is right, just, and fair. Let the wise listen and add to their learning, and let the discerning get guidance. How long will you who are simple love your simple ways? I will pour out my thoughts to you. I will make them known to you, my teachings. Make known to you my teachings. Now, isn't that amazing? That is only Proverbs 1. And during the Proverbs, he was meeting me every day in places where he was sharing things like this with me. I mean, if you just take the first one, Proverbs 1, verse 2, gaining wisdom and instruction for understanding, that is something I needed every day. And that is something I knew I could only get from him if I submit and surrender to him and give him this season, this time that I was going through, and trusting him with it. So I would love to know from you what stood out for you with this conversation that we had. Something you can practically go and apply to your life, because it is okay not to be okay. In our next video, I will share some more tips on what I did during this time just to get through it, just to get through the other side. Till then, keep walking, keep growing, and keep becoming. I'll see you on our next step in our next chapter.